And you're listening to Live at the Stage right here at WTJU, where we've got the Wildwoods in all the way from Lincoln, Nebraska. They're in the midst of a big tour right now, and this very evening would be the 7th of March. They are playing at the Jefferson Theater before they continue their tour, but they were nice enough to come in early to play for us here at the stage. Before I chat with y'all, how about y'all kick off with something?
The table, all our friends are eating alone. Drop your fingers, take a breath and swallow it whole. All the lips in your ears that are driving you mad, do they hold you like a marionette? Is there more to life than a morning smoke? Well, I guess I haven't found it yet. I saw you, did you see me? I saw your reflection and it's putting me at ease. I've been there before, in the belly of the whale. I swam up for air before I fell underneath. Oh, and let the crowd applaud you, masquerading on a full moon. Now the curtains have closed, it's the end of the show. Swooned by your ulterior motives, oh, and there she goes, off to find the hideaway. Fill your pockets for the last of your needles and pins. Roam the hallways, racing thoughts and tireless lips. Are you tired of the mess that collects in your nest? Is your head spinning off of the tracks? And you're blowing your horn cause you've run out of steam. Why'd you ever think that they had your back? I saw you, did you see me? I saw you praying in the dark on your knees. Glass on the floor, glass in my feet, blood on the carpet seeping into the concrete. Bow and let the crowd applaud you, masquerading on a full moon. Now the curtains have closed, it's the end of the show. Swooned by your ulterior motives, oh, and there she goes, off to find a hideaway.
Live here at the stage at WTJU, the sounds of the Wildwoods. Singing what?
That song was called Hideaway.
Well, welcome to WTJU's little hideaway right here at the stage.
That's right.
Thrilled to have you in.
Oh, thanks for having us, Peter.
We've got Noah Gose there chatting with me right now on guitar, Chloe Gose on fiddle, and Andy Vaggalis on that big upright. Together they are the Wildwoods. So let's talk about first how the Wildwoods came to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Noah and I started the band in 2012. We were 14 when we met, and we've been doing it ever since. Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of, we met, 8th grade it was. There was there were 2 backyard birthday parties happening right next to each other. This is typical middle school stuff. I don't know if still today, but it was back then. Where these 2 girls, they were kind of at war with each other. And I was in one backyard, and Chloe was in the other backyard. And I saw her, and we met, learned that we each played instruments, and both had a love for acoustic music and folk music and all that, which, there wasn't a whole lot of that around, I guess, when we were that young, but we got together and have been playing ever since. And we met Andy when we were in high school, and he joined us shortly after high school, around 2017. And and then we rebranded kind of as a trio in like 2021, I think, 22, and just have been touring as a trio ever since. So.
And the Wildwoods is a band name. How did that come to be?
Oh gosh, this is kind of a spotty memory.
Yeah, we started the band with my brother, and we've always been playing folk music, but at the time when we were 14, our band name was called Slap Happy, and that was a terrible band name. I don't know why we ever thought of doing that, but then we were like, we need something different that sounds folkier. So I think my mom drove us around like small towns in Nebraska, and we found a sign that said Wildwood Road, and we were like, Wildwood, that sounds very folky. So we were the Wildwoods.
Well, the obvious question is, have you done Wildwood Flower from the Carter family?
Oh,
We actually used to play in a bluegrass band, and we played that song then, but we haven't played it as the Wildwoods.
No,
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
We
Be too
need-
on the nose.
Yeah, we need to start maybe.
Yeah.
Well, being from Lincoln, I've got to ask, have you played for the Cornhuskers?
We have
Out on
not,
a big
no.
field. All right.
I guess we had one show where there was a couple Nebraska football players there.
Yeah, Andy's
Glacial Tail.
sister is dating the star player of the team.
Aha.
He just graduated, though.
Well, they seem to be turning things around.
Certainly. That's the hope. First winning season in a hot minute.
So yeah, he's been to 2 of our shows, I think.
2 or 3, I think.
So he should put in a word for us that we should do the national anthem, or I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of spooky.
We're looking ahead to the future, though. Right now, we're lucky enough to have the Wildwoods here on our own stage at WTJU. They are out touring with Tophouse, and that includes this very night here in Charlottesville. If you happen to be lucky enough to be in D.C., they're going to be at the Howard Theater tomorrow. That's the 9th. The Ardmore Music Hall in Pennsylvania on the 9th is the Ardmore Music Hall. The 8th will be the Howard Theater in D.C. And the 12th they're going to be up in Hartford, Connecticut at Infinity Hall. And you'll actually be back here on your own in June 26th, as I said, headlining your own shows at the Spot on Kirk in Roanoke. So you can check out the Wildwood bands. I'll get that right eventually. TheWildwoodsBand.com to check out to see where they might be playing somewhere near you. Well, I've got a lot more questions, and eventually I'll get the website right. But how about we get another one from you?
Yeah, we're gonna play a tune called West Virginia Rain, which we wrote about West Virginia.
West Virginia, hey, misty mountains calling out my name. West Virginia, hey, falling down to take away my pain. I see it in your eyes, you're all alone and terrified. Thought that leaving home would guide a little more into your life. Brother in distress, I think it's time you take a rest. Oh, the bitterness has settled in your mind. Oh, how the hell did you let yourself become so blind? West Virginia, hey, misty mountains calling out my name. West Virginia, hey, falling down to take away my pain. Seeping into your head, drying your somber eyes. Does the rainfall take you back to
West Virginia rain. Misty mountains calling out my name. West Virginia rain, falling down to take away my pain. Falling down to take away my pain. Falling down to take away my pain.
Live here at the stage, West Virginia Rain from the Wildwoods. You can find out all about them at the wildwoodsband.com. So who wrote West Virginia Rain?
I wrote that one. That was a tune started. I started writing it in West Virginia. Finished it in Virginia though. We can't. But that's not in the song, unfortunately. But we had just played a show at this little dive bar. I don't even remember where it was at. It was kind of a last minute type of thing, and there was some very unique situations that occurred at that venue, and we left feeling a little weird about being out here traveling around in an old van and wondering if we were doing the right thing, and so that's kind of what sparked that tune. And then we parked our camper in this campground, and then it rained so much that we were stuck there for a few days. We were going to do more exploring throughout Virginia, but we just ended up in West Virginia, but we ended up just getting stuck there, and so that gave us a good opportunity to finish some tunes, and so
Yeah, we wrote it in the rain.
yeah.
So, Noah, do you do most of the writing, or do you all do some writing?
I do most of the bones of the writing, I guess.
Okay.
The lyrics and the melody and kind of a rough outline of harmony, and then I'll bring it to these two, and they'll give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and we'll kind of go through it, and parts will kind of mold and twist and bend throughout certain sections, and we'll work through tunes, all three together that way until we have something that we're all equally happy with, I guess. So
Chloe and I sit in chairs facing away from Noah, and he'll show us the song, and if we like it, we'll hit our red button, and our chair will turn around like that.
And so you've had a few other partners along the way, I guess, when you didn't turn the chairs.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're not here for the voice.
It's a pretty high success rate, I will say.
But you're not opposed to singing other songs if you're so moved as well.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, who would you count among your influences?
Oh gosh, let's see. I mentioned Gillian Welch and David Rollins are two major influences in the songwriting. A lot of old masters as well. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, both as a group and all individually, are very very inspiring to the songwriting. Huge Paul Simon fan as well. I love Paul Simon. He's probably my favorite lyricist of all time. So I spent a lot of time just reading through Paul Simon's lyrics, and we're all huge Beatles fans as well. So a lot of these harmony-based groups really, I think, inspired what our music has become. So,
And Chloe, when did you pick up the fiddle? Was it the violin at the time?
I guess technically they're the same thing, but the difference is attitude, I say. So I started when I was 9, and I just have done that ever since. My school didn't have an orchestra like growing up in elementary, middle school, and high school, so I would always travel to the public schools in town just to be a part of their orchestras. And I took kind of bluegrass lessons around when I was in 5th grade, and kind of have dabbled in both, but I'm mainly classically trained, so I don't know.
Now, do you still allow yourself to play classical when you're at home just to keep your chops up? Or
Sometimes I do. Sometimes, yeah. I've lost a lot of what I could do when I was in college because I was playing that music every day, but it's kind of a nice challenge to try it every once in a while, but it's also discouraging. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could play this a couple years ago, and now what happened?
And Andy?
I started playing bass sometime in high school. Shortly after picking up guitar, me and some buddies started a band, but we all played guitar. And I just kind of got into the Beatles. I'm like, well, that's what Paul McCartney did. So if it's good enough for him, that's what I'll do. And then I picked up the upright about 1.5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So I've been
Okay.
faking it till I make it ever since.
So do you still play your electric then?
Oh yeah,
All right.
definitely. Keep it as a backup with us in the van, and then back home I'll bust it out for random things here and there.
And do you still play a little guitar? You said you started with a guitar?
Yeah, and I still play some guitar and when I'm kicking around at home and stuff like that.
And Noah, has guitar always been your first love, or?
Gosh, you know, my parents enrolled me in piano lessons when I was very young, and I was quite defiant towards my piano teacher, which I always felt like maybe I gave her a bad impression as a child. But she came to see us at a show in Phoenix, Arizona, and that was really nice to realize she wasn't angry at me for how I was as a kid. But I was very defiant. Was not interested at all in the classical music, and I had a couple different piano teachers, and I just wanted to learn chords and kind of how songs fit together. And then my dad bought a guitar shortly before I was born, I believe, but it lived under his bed until I was about 12 years old, I think. And then I one day stayed home sick from school, pulled out the guitar, and there was like a VHS of how to play the song Pretty Woman. And so I tried to learn the first half, but then I don't know if it was him or the video he said he bought it used. There was like an episode of Seinfeld that was recorded over the second half of the video, so I was only able to learn the first half of the song. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of and then ever since then, guitar has been my main instrument. But I still love the piano. You know, I don't know. It's all great. You know.
I see you carry a couple guitars with you.
Yeah. This is my Collins. It came in to a shop used in Lincoln back in 2016, and I played it. Thought it was the most beautiful sounding guitar I'd ever heard. And then I looked at the price tag and I about passed out. But I asked if they could give me a month to sell everything I owned, and they said yes. And then I went back, bought it, and it's been with me ever since, my main guitar. And then this Harmony is the complete opposite story. I think this guitar was $100. And I've had a few of these, I've had two of these. The first one, the neck just randomly just combusted. And so that hasn't happened to this one yet, so hopefully it won't happen. But
Well, you've got Chloe playing the prize guitar, so what are y'all going to do for us next?
We're going to play a song called Sweet Niobrara, and we have a new album coming out in April, and the song is going to be on it. It's about our home state of Nebraska and the Niobrara River that runs through it.
I love the feeling of the highway and the rumble and the kick beneath my toes. Freedom of the asphalt, the smell of it still lingers on my clothes. Double lines like dominoes fall against each other on the open road. I won't forget you when you're next to me. Sound the horn to keep you away. Sweet Niobrara, in the morning I will leave for Valentine. Highway 12 is a fine stretch of country to clear a foggy mind. Oh, Niobrara, I am leaving you behind. Stopping for a minute, dirty glasses from the farmer's muddy hands. Cracking jokes across the bar, day of working on the precious land. land of harvest. The clouds they roam like buffalo in the sky. A simple way of living can sharpen up the dullest nights. Sweet Niobrara, in the morning I will leave for Valentine. Highway 12 is a fine stretch of country to clear a foggy mind. Oh, Niobrara, I am leaving you behind. Sweet Niobrara, in the morning I will leave for Valentine. Highway 12 is a fine stretch of country to clear a foggy mind. Oh, Niobrara, I am leaving you, Niobrara. I am leaving you, Niobrara. I am leaving you behind.
Live here at the stage, the Wildwoods, doing a new song from their upcoming album coming out in April. Let's talk about that album for a minute. What's it going to be called?
The album's going to be called Dear Meadowlark, which is the Nebraska state bird, meadowlark, and Dear Meadowlark because it's kind of a message to our people back home, and we miss everybody, when we're gone, and we miss just the way of life, I guess, back in Nebraska where everything's slow. There's no cities with bumper to bumper traffic. I guess there is, if it's like a game day, there's some traffic, but the album's not about traffic. Let me rephrase that.
It's all about Nebraska. Each
Yeah.
song ties back to home.
Well, let's
And-
talk about.
And meadowlark is the state bird. That's important. Did you already say that? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. And as an old timer, I think Meadowlark Lemon, who you don't even know. So
No.
he was part of the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh,
He was
whoa.
one of their big stars back in the day. If you've ever heard of them, so
Yeah.
Curly?
Curly was
something?
one of them. Yep.
Yeah, oh,
But
yeah.
no, indeed, Meadowlark's beautiful bird, and great to have as a state bird of Nebraska. Well, let's look back all the way to 2017 when that first album, Sweet Nostalgia, came out. When you go back and listen to it, did you cringe a little bit, or are you
Oh,
still
yeah.
proud? Okay.
I mean, I think the songs are very beautiful, and I would love to someday go back and re-record them. The cringe is just from how young we sound, I think, mostly.
Well, we've talked about Nickel Creek being an influence for you. Have you ever listened to their first album when they were singing cowboy songs?
I don't think I have. Have you?
Yeah, we had Sarah in here and said, yeah, we kind of made that one disappear, but
Oh, yeah.
I made sure we played a little bit for her.
We have an album that came out actually when we were in high school. It was called A Little Sweeter. And I don't remember what year that came out, but we've made that one disappear as well. You can't find it online anymore.
Wiped it from the internet.
Well, the question is, when you do go back and listen to the songs, would you want to rewrite them a little bit, or are you happy with the way they were written?
Gosh, it's even though it is a little cringy to think about other people listening to those older albums of ours. I don't think I would want to change the songs at all, just because it's really like a
Placeholder.
what's that?
It's a placeholder for you. It's
That's
where
right.
you were.
Yeah. It's just takes me back to, I guess, when we were the ages of when we recorded our past albums, and I think that's a really beautiful thing to look back on. But my voice was not a beautiful thing, and it's tricky to listen to, solely because of that, I think. But yeah.
Well, you actually put out 2 releases that year. You also did an EP. So what was the difference between those two? Had you learned something between them?
Yeah, so the EP was, I think, 6 acoustic duets that Noah and I wrote together, and we we recorded it because we got married in 2018 and we wanted to have a gift to give to all of our wedding guests. And that's what that EP was. We went into the studio and recorded it completely live and just played the songs like a few times through. And we still sound young on those, but I think those songs are beautiful too. And I would love to re-record those and see how they sound different, but I don't cringe as much with that album. I don't know why. I think it's because they're love songs and they hold like a special memory, but very different from Sweet Nostalgia, because that was like a full band production kind of album.
So when you do compare that first album with the one that's about to come out, besides the early sound, what's the biggest improvement in yourselves that you note between then and now?
I think just our comfortability as instrumentalists, for sure. I think when I listen to the old stuff, it's very, very simple. I think especially we did a couple albums in high school, like Chloe was saying, and I think I really just pounded on the guitar quite a bit. And I think we've all gotten gentler and more precise or more purposeful, I guess, with our playing.
Yeah, I feel like we listen to each other's voices a little more too when we sing together. And the earlier albums, it's more like we're singing. We're singing together, but we sound like separate voices. But now we try a lot to blend and sound like one. And I feel like that does come across with the new album.
And Andy, since you've joined the group, what's the biggest change you've seen?
Within myself or the group as a whole?
Well, the group as a whole, and yourself, as you've come along. What have you changed about yourself as you've gone along? But how have you found yourself integrating even more so besides the harmonies?
I think the harmonies probably are the biggest part. I feel like there's been more 3-part as the albums have gone along, and there's some of those early songs where I listen back and I'm spending a lot of time on the bass, frets like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I listen back, I'm like, brother, you don't need to be doing that much. And so I think I've gotten better at serving the songs, and I feel like the arrangements as a whole are a lot more intentional with everything added, and especially this latest album that's about to be coming out. I feel like it's quite a bit more stripped back than the one before, and everything then has to be even way more intentional than it was with serving the song. That kind of makes sense.
It does. Well, how about we hear another one?
Yeah.
The song is called Postcards from Somewhere, and it wasn't going to be a part of the album, but then we released it as a single over the summer, and Chloe talked me into adding it as a bonus track as the 11th song on the album, so this one will be on there.
Send you a postcard from somewhere that I don't belong. The rivers or the trees, Illinois to Tennessee, from a road built by God just for me. I'll send you $1 from postage. I know they sell stacks at the store. Please write me soon. I'm alone, just me and the moon. Else my heart might break in two.
drawing of the places I go. Wherever I'll be, you'll always know. Whenever you're down,
I'll be around. You're the part of me that aches to be found. Saw it in from yours. Truly, I left you foolishly. Saw it in from yours. Saw it in yours.
Live here at the stage, the sounds of the Wildwoods doing Postcards from Somewhere, which will be on their upcoming album, Dear Meadowlark, out in April. And you can catch the Meadowlark, or rather, you can catch the Wildwoods on tour here in Charlottesville tonight. They're going to be at the Jefferson. They're doing a bunch of dates with Tophouse, but they're also going to be doing some headlining gigs coming up as well. So check out the wildwoodsband.com. And if you see a white transit driving down the road, it's probably them.
That's right. The bullet, we call it.
Well, as I was listening to that, I was just thinking about all the places you've played, and I know you've been to FreshGrass. I think you guys were was it a finalist there, semi-finalist? Yeah.
We were, yes.
Yeah, they invited us out to compete in their band contest. So we were finalists just like from an invitation.
Right.
And we traveled there on tour and got to compete and meet a lot of really great musicians. And we got to play a set too at FreshGrass, so that was fun.
Yeah. We didn't know until we showed up that it was a bluegrass band competition.
Ah.
And so we quickly had to kind of rearrange one of a Bob Dylan song that we knew and just bluegrassified it a bit. And we didn't win, but after we saw, I mean, the other two groups that played were just wildly incredible. And but it was still an honor to be a part of and hang out with all those folks. It was like the first festival where we got like all access artist passes to go anywhere. We snuck into Aiofe O Donovan's sound check when she was playing with this choir and the string quartet. Oh, it was so beautiful to hear up close like that.
Well, we've had Aiofe here on more than one occasion, so longtime friends of her. Going back to her early days with, the wild band of Snee, which preceded Crooked Still, if you know that group. So.
Whoa.
I don't know if I know it. Yeah.
Yep, she and Rushad Eggleston and some others.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So, anyway, we've got the Wildwoods with us right here, right this very moment here at the stage at WTJU, and they are on a big tour. Now, I know you're going to be skirting possibly through Canada on your way to a Midwest gig, but have you done any tour gigs outside the U.S.?
We've played a couple shows. We haven't really done a tour. In 2019, Noah and I went to Europe for a month, basically just to vacation.
Yeah.
But we booked a couple gigs in several different countries. And then last year or 2 years ago, 2 years ago now, we played in Switzerland. This couple found us on Facebook, and they liked our video, so they just invited us to play at their wedding, and that was fun.
Nice. Well, when you were doing these tours, I imagine, were you borrowing instruments, or were you carrying your own instruments around with you?
So Noah and I brought our own instruments. Like for the Europe trip, you just brought like a smaller guitar.
Brought the harmony
Yeah.
here.
And then when we went to Switzerland, they rented Andy a bass, so he he didn't have to fly. But did you fly with your electric bass?
Yeah, I think we brought the electric bass. I can't remember if I had the upright then or not.
Oh, yeah.
Time's weird.
That's
Yeah.
right. Well, let's talk about that big standing bass there. So
Oh,
you said
yeah.
you only had it for about a year and a half?
Yeah, I got it August of 23.
What's
Something
been the
around there.
biggest adjustment for you?
Definitely the intonation, where I kind of have to still kind of watch my hands like a hawk sometimes just to make sure I'm in the right place. But little by little, I find myself closing my eyes more. I used to just always have my eyes closed, but we're getting comfier and comfier. I guess that's the nice part about touring as much as we do. Kind of good practice.
And Chloe, do you allow yourself to listen to other musicians on the road? Or I know a lot of musicians just kind of, they need the downtime so that when they're out there listening to podcasts. What do you all do when you're on the road? Do you listen to others' music or your music? Or
It depends on the day. I listen to a lot of podcasts because I'm always working on stuff during the drives. But even when I'm listening while I'm working, I'm not really listening. I just like having the noise in the background. But sometimes I prefer to listen to music, so I just put on, usually the radio station of an artist that I really love, because I'm not actively listening. I'm just very passively listening. So something calming and soothing. Like I was saying before, I listen to a lot of Joni Mitchell radio. That's what I've been listening to lately. But I switch it up.
Noah?
Gosh, when driving, usually podcasts, I will say. I love listening to new albums when we're home, but listening to new music just gets tricky while driving just because there's the rumble of the road and you can't really hear every detail that you can with headphones on. So sometimes we'll put music on, but most of the time it's podcasts or we're talking. So I guess.
Andy, same thing?
Yeah, if I'm driving, I like to listen to stuff I already know, because you lose some of the context, so your brain kind of fills it in. But if I'm in the passenger side, I try to listen to a lot of new stuff when I can, whether it's albums or I'll make a playlist of things that people have you got to listen to this or listen to that, and so kind of put it all into one thing. Because before they would say, you should listen to this, and then I would be like, oh, I should, but then I never would.
Do you ever tell the others, any of you, when you're driving along, take those earbuds out and listen to what I'm going to play for you right now? Is this something new I think you need to hear? Or?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I think every once in a while we
Yeah.
do. Or an artist that we've one of us has been talking about that's a new artist we don't know about. We do that sometimes.
Last week, Andy's been having a real big Bob Dylan kick.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was like, you got to hear this one. It was, man gave name to all the animals.
Oh, yeah. It's been done by so many great folks.
Totally.
It's cool. We should do that one.
That'd be fun.
I think I call it a pig. Love it.
Well, those just checking us out, we do have the Wildwoods here with us on stage. They're in the midst of a big tour, including this very night, March 7th. They're going to be at the Jefferson Theater along with Tophouse. But check out the wildwoodsband.com to see where they'll be playing, maybe near you. How about we get another one from you?
Yeah. The song is called Footprints on the Floor. It was inspired by our 12 broken Chemex coffee pots.
Locks of hair
On the floor,
still waiting for it to grow back.
so I can go outside.
Spoiled milk,
In the fridge,
how shameful and wasteful of my selfish mind. Why have I been so unkind?
well,
I suppose I'm overthinking. I have been drinking on a Monday afternoon. Ooh, 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 all my thoughts belong to her. She rents a room up in my head, or sifting through the drawers. Ooh, 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 won't you tell me what you find? is all that you have left behind, the footprints on the floor. Oh, yellow teeth
In the mirror
staring back at me. I cannot wait.
until they all fall out.
One less little thing to worry about anyway. Why have I been so afraid? Perhaps I'll make some marmalade from the pulp of the fruits of my labor. Are you still angry about the broken coffee maker? Ooh, 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 all my thoughts belong to her. She rents a room up in my head, oh, sifting through the drawers. Ooh, 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 won't you tell me what you find? 'Cause all that you have left behind are footprints on the floor. Oh, locks of hair on the floor, still white eyed. Spoiled milk in the fridge, how shameful. Suppose I'm overthinking. I have been drinking on a Monday afternoon. Ooh, 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 all my thoughts belong to her. She rents a room up in my head, oh, sifting through the drawers. Ooh, 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 won't you tell me what you find? 'Cause all that you have left behind, all that you have left behind, all that you have left behind, the footprints on the floor.
Footprints on the Floor from our guest here at the stage, the Wildwoods. And is that on one of your older releases, or is that on the upcoming one?
So that one's gonna be on this new upcoming album, but we actually released that song as a single back in the summer of 2023.
All right.
And I feel like it's become a bit of a crowd favorite, I guess, at our shows, and so we play it at most of the shows, and so we've just decided to put it on. It is a different version than the single release, and so the single version is very soft and gentle, and the album version, I think we're a little bit more angry about the broken coffee pots, and so it's a little bit more intense. But yeah.
Well, that brings up the question: do you try to make your live performance of your songs sound like they do on the recordings, or do you allow yourselves to find a different voice in the live performances?
I think we do the best we can with certain songs, making them sound like the recordings, because there's only so much we can do with the three of us. There's tracks that have other instrumentalists on it, but the songs pretty much stay the same, and there's songs on the album that sound exactly like they do when we play them live, but some of them do sound completely different without us even trying to.
Yeah.
But I think different in a good way. Like the first song we played, Hideaway, on the album, that song has drums, but of course we don't have that when we're playing live. So it feels different when we're just doing it, the three of us, versus when we have a drummer. But I kind of like it, like the difference in getting to do it both ways.
I think naturally, with touring with a lot of these songs, like little differences kind of like arise compared to like learning the songs, recording them, and then touring with them for months at a time. Like there's been a couple times where we'll like listen to the studio track and be like, man, we play this a lot slower or a lot faster, or so. But for the most part, I think it stays pretty true.
Yeah.
As much as we can.
Well, you've been out there, at least two of you, for 11 years doing this. Are you starting to look down the road, in another 5 years, another 11 years? Do you have a plan in mind? Gosh.
We'd have a dream, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to have a plan living this kind of life. we know that this is what we want to be doing, and we just want to garner a bigger audience and more fans and just get our music out to more people. But I think all three of us would love to be able to buy a home and have a family and settle down while still being able to play music and do what we love.
Yeah.
And do you want to use Nebraska as your home, or are you thinking maybe get to a different part of the country, or?
That's a good question. I won't speak for Andy because I don't know his opinion for himself, but Noah and I, we wanted to move away for so long from Nebraska. And then I think once we started touring more, it made us appreciate coming home a lot more. And we love Nebraska. I think that's probably where we'll end up. And I don't think we'll move away because we get to see a lot of the country anyway, every single day.
I'd like to move away at some point, but I imagine, because all my family's there and everything, I could see myself getting pulled back. But for now, with the life that we live, kind of going around everywhere, it's nice to be able to come home and see them, and cheap rent. Doesn't hurt as well.
Well, those who have been listening or watching, we've got the Wildwoods with us, and they're out on tour right now. Maybe you'll get to see them where you might be, or are there any big festivals in the Nebraska area that you kind of got your start at, or?
Gosh, there's a festival in Hastings called the Flatwater Music Festival that we've kind of played at now once every other year, maybe. But we first started going to that and playing when we were in high school, and that's a fun festival, and it's been fun to see it grow over the years. Other than that, there has been a few festivals to have popped up. There used to be the Folk and Roots Festival in Lincoln, and let's see, I'm trying to think of other festivals, especially folk and bluegrass festivals. There's not a whole lot. So.
Yeah, there's not a lot around Nebraska. There's Maha Music Festival in Omaha, but I don't know how much folk music they have.
I don't know.
Well, are there any festivals that you always feel like you're at home at when you get there, either just attending or as a musician? Or here's a question: can you still enjoy going to music festivals when you're not performing?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I feel like they're more enjoyable when we're not performing, because when we're performing, it's like stressful trying to get to the stage that you're supposed to play on and just know where to be and get all of your gear together. But then once our set is done, it's very enjoyable. I don't know.
There's always a lot of logistics whenever we're playing in the festival, but it's kind of nice to be able to not have to worry about all the other stuff or worry about, where we're going tomorrow and all that stuff. When you can just sit and watch and listen and vibe.
Well, I know we're going to have to let you get off to sound check soon here at the Jefferson Theater, but how about we get one more from you?
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah. What should we do? What are we feeling? You cherry picking or willow or? Yeah. We're going to do a brand new song that we have this will be our first, I guess, radio performance of this one. This one's called I Will Follow You to Willow. Another one from the new album.
And we just released it last week, so you can listen to it now early if you want to.
Just a shadow, the oceans were still shallow, the forests were just seeds, and they seemed far too many days. just as lovely after oh so many years. All I've done is seeking comfort in the same old eyes and ears. I follow you. And I will follow you to Willow, and I will wait outside your window. There's something in the silver cotton sky, something in the rhythm of the ride. I will follow you to Willow, I will wait outside your window. There's something in the tires turning round, 40,000 miles of covered ground. Oh, my dear, grab my hat, a coat, and a dime for a souvenir. You must know that I will comfort you in times of heavy tears. I'll follow you. Ooh, I will follow you to Willow. I will wait outside your window. There's something in the silver cotton sky, something in the rhythm of the ride. I will follow you to Willow. I will wait outside your window. There's something in the tires turning round, 40,000 miles of covered ground. And I'll be around. And I'll be around. I'll be around. And I'll be around.
A new song there from the Wildwoods, I Will Follow You to Willow, which you'll be able to find on their brand new release, Dear Meadowlark, out in April. Noah Gose on guitar, vocals, Chloe Gose on fiddle and vocals, and Andy Vaggalis on that big upright, singing along as well. Together they are the Wildwoods. Check out thewildwoodsband.com to see where they might be in your area and how to find out more about their music and them. Thank you, one and all.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
thanks so much for having us, Peter.